Well, what is your crystal ball saying over there for your prediction?
So my crystal ball is telling me as I look into it. I'm holding it right here, and it's telling me. Hold up, let me shake it a little bit more. It's a little bit foggy. I'm looking. It's telling me Kings in 7, man. It's telling me Kings in 7, and here's why. I'm gonna do this with math, okay? So the Kings in a 7-game series here, they will play 1, 2, 3, 4. Count them 4 home games. All right. The Warriors' record on the road is 11-30. So that tells me that the Warriors have lost 3/4 of their road games. Okay. So that means just based off math, that's 3 wins for the Kings right there. And then you're telling me the number 1 offense in the league can't light up one time in the Bay? Not once. I think they can do that at least once because, even though their defense isn't great, if you're the number 1 offense in the league, surely you can get hot enough to outscore them once in 4 other tries. Like if you have those 3 games at home, you just need one other time to really come out. But at the same time, Steph Curry is formidable, top player in the league. Andrew Wiggins is going to come back. He'll be a great matchup for whoever they want to stick him on. There's a lot of things going both ways. Poole might get a game. Clay's always going to get his game. And so I think it'll be very back and forth. I think there's going to be a lot of great highlights on both sides of the court. And as much as I would love to pick the Warriors here, there's just a lot of question marks. I know we say like Wiggins might slide in back and he should be pretty good right away, but that's a he should be. There's still at least a tiny question mark there, if any. Whereas with the Kings, like I can be pretty confident because I feel like they've just been what they are throughout the whole season. They've been consistently good. I haven't really seen any terrible stretches from them. And I think they'll steal it. I think a lot of people are counting them out. And I mean, the only reason they really are is off reputation, man. If you look at the way the Warriors have played this season and the way the Kings have played this season, I think the Kings are a better basketball team. I think the only argument is like, oh, because Draymond's been great in the playoffs before, he all of a sudden will be great. Well, he wasn't great in the finals last year. So I don't really know how much I can even buy into that. Clay, he's like the model of inconsistency. He's been better in the second half of the season, but you're telling me one game in San Francisco, Clay's not cold and the Kings light them up? It's perfectly possible. And we've seen Curry go out there by himself and not get it done. If the other guys aren't working too, things will go very south for the Warriors very quickly. The last time they had Curry and nobody else was really playing well, they fell out of the play-in that year to the Lakers. It's stuff that's happened before, and I don't want to get too rambly here, so I'll close here and I'll just say, due to my mathematical prowess, the Kings will take this in 7 games.
I love when Gabe goes on tangents, man.
I think for me personally, this is the toughest first round matchup,
100.
at least in the Western Conference, but it's the toughest first round matchup in general. However, this might be surprising, but I think it will also be the quickest first round matchup in the whole Western Conference. And I'll explain that in a second. I have the Kings winning this in 5 games. And the reason I think that is because, this is such a polarizing thing that the Kings are the best road team by a landslide, really, in the Western Conference. Of course, the Warriors are pretty much like unstoppable at home. I think actually Denver is better than them, and I think even maybe Memphis too, like at home. So like they're not the best team at home this season, but it almost feels like they're invincible, maybe because they're so bad on the road, and that's kind of like what's kept them afloat this year. I think that something is going to give in those first 4 games that's not going to be expected. I'm going to be interested to see how the Kings protect home court. I feel like them winning game 1 is almost a given. They've missed the playoffs for 17 years. The fans are going to bring it. The players are going to want to bring it. And they're more than likely, it's almost like a shoe-in. They're going to win game 1. And I think the same thing for game 3 for the Warriors because it's going to be their first home game. I'm looking at games 2 and 4, and one of those is going to go to the road team. I'm confident in that because, whether it's game 2, the Warriors are like, we don't want to go down 0-2, or if they do go down 0-2 and then it's 2-1, the Kings are going to respond like, okay, we can't let this thing dig deeper. And I feel like game 5, whether the Kings lose maybe one of those home games, like if they lose game 2 and then the Warriors protect home court, I think the Warriors would win this in 5 actually. So it's a really weird situation, but I'm picking the Kings because I think they've been more consistent this year. I think that Mike Brown is going to have a lot of vengeance because he was with his Warrior staff just last year. I think Harrison Barnes is going to have vengeance too, because even though, they basically had to get rid of him to get Kevin Durant, which it's Kevin Durant, right? I'm sure he still would have liked to be a part of those other teams that won championships. So you got him who has experience. You got Domantas Sabonis, who never made a huge run, but he has experience. Kevin Huerter, like Gabe said earlier, Game 7, Kevin Huerter. He might show up. He might have a big performance. I don't have it going 7, but he could have a big game, and he has some experience. Trey Lyles as well. Terrence Davis played a role on that Raptors team a couple years ago. Like, they have guys, and they have a healthy mix of people without experience too, like with De'Aaron Fox and with Malik Monk. So the level of hunger is definitely going to be there, especially because this team hasn't been there in forever. And then they also have some experience to combat it or to coincide with it too. So I think it will be a short series. I feel like it's going to go like 5 games no matter what. And that's why it's really weird. I've never seen a series quite like this, but I've probably never seen 2 teams quite like this before, where the Kings are so great offensively and it seems like they're so bad defensively, and the Warriors are so good at home and they're so trash on the road. So I feel like it's going to be a short series. It'll go 5 games, and I'm going to take the Kings because they've been better this year.
Like you said, this is such a tough series to pick. I've been going back and forth since we found out what the matchup is going to be, and I still don't feel confident in my pick at all. You guys bring up some really great points. The thing that's kind of bothering me with the Warriors is, like Gabe said, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've been a dynasty. They're, the defending champs. But I feel like every time I give a team the benefit of the doubt, they prove me wrong. Like, they show why I should have never done that with them. The Lakers have done that with me for the last 3 seasons. Other teams have done that. It's just I'm kind of tired of doing that. Them being 11-30 on the road is a big concern. Now, it is a case where, you just got to win really one road game to give yourselves a real chance in the series. But the Kings have been so solid at home. They've been so solid on the road. And it's such a tough matchup for them, though, because this is a franchise that hasn't made the playoffs in over a decade and a half against the most dominant postseason team in the last 10 years, a team that has not lost a Western Conference playoff series since, 2013 or 2014? It's been that long. So it's such a tough matchup. I've been going back and forth. I had Warriors written down earlier. I'm gonna go with the Kings though, man. I'm gonna go with the Kings. I just got questions about Golden State. Wiggins, not really being up to speed. How big of a role is he gonna play in the series? He's such a vital piece for them. And I just got, like Gabe mentioned, Draymond, even though he has this, playoff Draymond mantra, he wasn't good in the postseason last year. I can't discredit that. Shout out to Clay for really stepping up, after that poor start of the season. I think I came on here, said he was washed. He proved me wrong. He had a very, very good season, hit 303 pointers in the year. He had a great season. But even him, Jordan Poole, he was kind of poor last postseason. And is it going to be the Steph Curry show it's kind of been, since he's been healthy? This team's not even that great with Steph Curry in the lineup because they rely on him so much to provide offensively. It's just a lot of questions, man. And I think the Kings, we kind of know what they are. They have their identity this season. And I kind of just trust them, as crazy as it sounds. I trust them just a little bit more in this series. So I'm going to go Sacramento in 6.
I was not expecting to be the only person that would end up taking Golden State here, but here we are. I'm going to go with Golden State in 7. And I do have concerns for them, most specifically with the availability of Andrew Wiggins and how productive he'll actually be, because even if he's back and he's able to give you 25 to 30 minutes a night, how good are those 25 to 30 minutes going to be? That's definitely going to be a concern for as long as it's been since he's played competitive basketball, even if he's been staying in shape and getting shots up. There's no, you just can't jump in from working out on your own to NBA basketball in the playoffs and have that be a seamless transition. So that's definitely going to be a concern, even if he is ready to go for game 1. The biggest thing that makes me want to push towards the Warriors is, number one, the fact that their defense has improved a lot over the last month. Over the last 15 games, they're back up to 7th in defensive rating. Part of that is the fact that Draymond's been a lot better defensively in the back half of the season. Part of that is Gary Payton getting back in the lineup, and the rebounding, the defense has improved because of that. And the other thing that gives me a little bit of hope for the Warriors is, contrary to your point earlier, Garrett, I think Golden State are probably going to take game 1 in Sacramento. And I say that coming from the point of view of, I've been a part of a fan base who, sure, it hadn't been a tiny time since we'd actually not making the playoffs, but it was the start of a new era. The fan base was hyped. And the first time that such a team made the playoffs, that being the Raptors with Lowry and DeMar against the Brooklyn Nets, we looked really bad in game 1. And we came out scared. We came out nervous. And there was a lot of energy and the crowd was behind you. But when you got a team that's got a fan base that's excited, hasn't seen a playoff team for a long time, and has a lot of team with a lot of inexperience, that can be a really tough environment to settle into. Now, once you settle into it and get comfortable, it's fun, but it can be a really nervy situation. And Golden State are not going to be nervy. They've been here. They're going to be comfortable. I would not be surprised at all to see them take that road game. And once they take a road game, I think it's going to be Golden State series to lose. So Golden State in 7 for me, but it's going to be a really good series. It's going to be a really fun series. There's going to be a lot of fun offense going on. And it's going to be a really competitive one, regardless of how long it goes and whoever wins it. It should definitely be one of the series to watch this year for sure.
I will say, too, I think I get your point, because I think that they could come out. There could be a lot of nerves, like, oh my gosh, like, we've waited 17 years for this. Like, it's such a huge moment. So I very well could see, like, the game 1, like, it could turn against them. I just think Mike Brown is going to have his guys ready. I believe in game 1s in the first round, like game 1 of the playoffs, I think he's undefeated. I think he's like 6-0. So I think that I trust Mike Brown enough to get that first win, you know, especially because these veteran teams, you know, as time goes on, they'll feel maybe more relaxed, more at ease with, you know, the game 1s and stuff. I feel like we've seen, like, you know, as we're going to get into this next matchup with the Lakers and like stuff like that, like in the past, they've, you know, when they won in the bubble, every series, basically the first 2 or something, they lost game 1 because they're like, you know what, it's like feeler game essentially. So I don't know. I think that I very well could see the Warriors doing that as well.
Definitely possible.
Like we all kind of said, though. I mean, I think Gabe, did you say this was a 7-game series for you?
Yeah, I put 7.
So we all pretty much said, even Garrett with his 5 take, he said pretty much like it could easily be Warriors in 5. Like, that's how like close these teams kind of match up. And like you said, Devin, there's gonna be a lot of offense in this series. This is probably gonna be the most fun series to watch, whether it's a 5-game series or a 7-game series. Like, this is gonna be such an enjoyable series just because of the offense. But man, it's just like such a disparity in like kind of playoff experience. You got the dynasty type team, and then the team that the franchise hasn't been there in like 17 years. And even like a lot of the guys, like Sabonis has kind of minimal playoff experience. You know, Harrison Barnes has some, but a lot of these guys don't really have a ton of playoff experience. Like Kevin Huerter, I think, made the conference finals, but it's like outside of that, like a lot of their key contributors haven't played postseason basketball. But I do like the point about Mike Brown, even though all those series I think were with LeBron James, or at least majority of them were with LeBron.
One of them was with the Lakers, but yeah, basically.
I forgot about that year. One of them was with the Lakers. But LeBron, Kobe, he has some heavy hitters for sure. But with that being said, he definitely does have the playoff experience, and he's been coaching in this league a long, long time. So I kind of trust him, and I think he even has something to prove, not only with, you know, him going against the Warriors, who he was just with, but I feel like he never got really credit, you know, for coaching the Cavs back in the day because LeBron was there. It was just like Mike Brown's just kind of there, like every LeBron type of coach is. But I think he definitely has something to prove too. So should be a fun series. Hopefully it goes to full 7, so we can just get a lot of offense in this first round.
I just feel like it's not like, if it's not gonna be Kings in 5, my next likeliest option would be Warriors in 5 or something like that. Like it's gonna be done quick, I feel like, and it's so weird because I've never felt that way about a series, but I don't know.
It's going to be a very unique series, to say the least.